Times have changed, but success can still be found. Today, I'm going to share with you 7 things you should be focused on right now. The conversations I'm having these days with agents is a little bit different than it has been in the past. They're wondering, okay, things have changed, but what is it that I should be doing right now, maybe in this little bit of a transition that we've been seeing over the last year or so, where the market has shifted, where maybe clients' needs have shifted. What is it that we should be focusing on to find the success and not only set the table for success now, but into the future? Today, I'm going to share with you 7 different things that you should be focused on so that we understand exactly what we can do to recalibrate our business back to a place where we're growing again. We're going to start at the same place that every single thought in your business should start, and that is with your ideal client. Number 1, who is your ideal client? Who is it that you know that you can add the most value to, and it's the person that you desire to work with the most? Once we identify who that person is it a first-time home buyer? Is it an investor? Is it somebody that's out there that's upsizing or maybe downsizing their homes and home needs? Whatever it is, that ideal client for you, once we've identified who it is, now we can begin to understand the needs they have. What are those needs? Do they need more information about financing? Do they need more information about buying or selling and then buying? What is it that they need to understand? If it's an investor, do they need to understand ROI? Do they need to understand cap rate? Do they understand the effects of financing on the deal? Understanding exactly who your ideal client is, and then finding the pain points and providing that value, that's where we're going to be able to take our business to the next level. This sounds kind of crazy, but the second thing we're going to focus on after focusing in on our ideal client is focus on yourself. Now, sometimes when you hear somebody say focus in on themselves, they're talking about how this benefits them. I'm going to go a little bit deeper. I want to talk about the fact that if we've identified who your ideal client is, focus on the type of agent that will attract that ideal client to them. What are the characteristics? What are the traits they have? What are the things that they do? Where are they? What is the things that they do to make sure that they attract that ideal client? And begin to model and to develop yourself into that ideal person. What is it that you need to know more of? What is it you need to understand better? What is it that you need to be able to communicate in a better way that attracts that ideal client? You see, when we're talking about focusing in on ourselves, we're talking about focusing in on developing ourselves into the person that will not just have more business, but is the person that will attract that ideal client. When we attract that ideal client, that's when our business begins to grow. Next up is to be where your ideal client is. Now, think about it this way. If we're going to be the person who is going to attract that ideal client, we first off have to understand where is it they spend time. Are they spending time on specific types of social networks? You know, we've seen this ideally where someone who is maybe a little bit more mature is probably going to be on Facebook. Maybe if it's a first-time home buyer, you're going to see that Instagram and TikTok are going to be great places for you. What is it that you are doing? LinkedIn is probably going to be for investors. Where is your ideal client spending the most time? When we identify where they are and we begin to position ourselves there, now we've got something where we're putting ourselves in the water, so to speak, so that we can catch the wave. Also, is your ideal client someone who's active in your local community? Then you should become active. Is your ideal client someone that has young children? Then you should be active within the school systems. Whatever it is, identifying who your ideal client is, understanding where they're spending time, putting yourself in the position where you're not only going to be around these folks, but you're going to be someone that they see as a resource. Now we've got something we can really work with. Begin to understand not just who that ideal client is, but where they are, and things will begin to change. The next place to focus is on your existing relationships. A lot of times what we have is we have people thinking that the answer is generating more leads, but in reality, the law of recognition states that basically everything you need is probably already around you. Every person that you need that will help you build relationships with your ideal client, you probably already have a relationship with some of these folks. The folks that you have in your sphere of influence, those are people that can not only do business with you, but generate those relationships or introduce you to those folks that you need to see the referral base that you need. Also, who have you worked with in the past? Who is it that you've had an existing relationship that already knows, likes, and trusts you? Begin to understand and focus on those relationships that you already have. When you focus on those existing relationships, it'll expand and it will absolutely give you the opportunity to take your business wider. Next up is lead re-engagement. Listen, a lot of people have a lot of leads already, but they haven't engaged with those folks in a while. Maybe you had some online leads that came in, maybe people you met at an open house. Maybe these are people that you've just met throughout your business over the last few years, and maybe you haven't talked to them in a little while. So let me give you some practical things that you can do to re-engage with this group. A simple phone call, just checking in. Hey, it's been a little while. Checking in to see how you guys are doing, see if you still love the house you own or the house that you're in, whatever that may be. If it's someone that is was a potential buyer. Hey, it's been a little while. I know the market's changed a little bit. Just curious if you guys are still interested in possibly purchasing a home. Just re-engaging with people, just starting the conversation back off. These are some of the calls that sometimes we really hesitate to make because we think, oh, it's been so long. I promise you, those leads, if you haven't been calling them, have been thinking way less about you than you've been thinking about them. Checking in with these folks, understanding that you've already talked to them in the past, and re-engaging, that's a place where we can really begin to see some gains. All right, so we've gone through and we've understand exactly who our ideal client is. We've put ourselves in position there. We've re-engaged with some of our past people that we've worked with, or maybe that we haven't talked to in a little while. So what do we do next? Because there is a point where we continue to get through all of those people sometimes, and what do we need to do? Focus on lead generation. Lead generation is foundational to our business. So what is it that you're doing to go out and to make sure that you have a steady, consistent flow of leads coming into your business? Now, this can be done in a number of different ways. First off, we can always purchase leads online. Probably the lowest place that we can go as far as the return on the time and the money that we spend, but it is a place that you can start. I've had success in lead generation online. You can too. The key is on the follow-up with that. Are you hosting open houses where you're putting yourself in a position to meet potential buyers and sellers? Are you out there making phone calls, circle prospecting, doing the business? Are you door knocking? Are you doing some things in a way where you're making sure that there is a steady flow of people coming into your business? Are you producing content that's attracting clients? Whatever it is for you. I've heard it put this way: it's very hard to go broke if you have people beating your door down as far as new leads coming into your business. Last but not least, focus on what you can control. What is it that you can control? First off, you can control your attitude. Do you believe that your business is going to be better in the future than it was in the past? Because when you believe it, you will begin to take actions. Focus on the things you can control, like the amount of effort you put in. Do you prospect on a daily basis? Do you time block your schedule so that you can have outbound calls going out and prospects coming in every single day? Are you focused in on production of video, production of social media content, controlling what you can control? We can't control what this market does. We can't control whether buyers decide, I'm just going to wait and see if these interest rates come down. We can't control if the listing we have won't reduce their price to where the new market says that their price should be. What we can control is the effort that we put forward. Our job is not to help is not to make the decisions for other people. Our job is to put ourselves in a position to give as many people as possible the best information possible so that they can make the best decision for their family. Are you doing that on a consistent basis? When you focus in on the controllables, everything else takes care of itself. Yes, this market has changed, but we know there will be winners and there will be losers in this new market. The things that we focus on, understanding who our ideal client is, understanding on where they are and adding more value than we ever have before, making sure that we're setting ourselves up to give more effort than we've ever given before. If we just focus in on these key things, I promise you're going to be the one that wins in this new market environment. Hope this has been helpful, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for watching the video. I specifically chose the video below for you because it builds on the one you just watched. I hope it's helpful, and I'll talk to you soon.